Greetings. Thank you for joining the A4LE Digital Conference. My name is Jasmine Shaw. I'm the Director for the Office of School Facilities, and joining me is Ms. Tanya Mallett Smith, the Director for the Emergency Programs. We both work for the South Carolina Department of Education, and we would like to thank A4LE for allowing us to be a part of this wonderful conference. On today, we will present to you how to get your ESSER II act together in hopes that you learn more about ESSER II and our partnerships within our organization to help both reduce virus transmission and have safe and healthy learning environments. So at this time, Ms. Smith will introduce herself and discuss more about ESSER II.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for letting me participate in your conference today. Again, I am Tanya Mallett Smith, Director of the Office of Emergency Programs here at the South Carolina Department of Education. Our office, we are here to assist our districts with the management, the implementation, and the monitoring of ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and soon the ARP ESSER funds. Today, our purpose is to overview the elementary and secondary schools emergency relief or ESSER II funds that were awarded to school districts as subgrants under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, which is CRRSA. A disclaimer today that this presentation is designed to help you understand the requirements and procedures for ESSER II, but does not substitute for you reading the subgrant agreement, all the assurances, terms, and conditions, and applicable state laws and federal regulations. Our objectives today are to understand ESSER II funds, including state and district responsibilities, to understand the allowable uses of the ESSER II funds, and to understand the process flow related to Category 13 and 14 and our partnership with the Office of School Facilities. $54.3 billion was provided by the U.S. Department of Education under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, or CRRSA. Those funds were awarded by legislation to state education agencies to provide local education agencies emergency funds to address the impact of COVID-19. South Carolina received $846,378,704. 90% of the total state award flows through to the local education agencies. The amount that each district is awarded is determined by the proportion of Title I Part A they received in the summer of 2020. The remaining funds are used at the state level to address COVID-19 activities. For ESSER II, the districts were not required to complete a new application. They had to submit a spending plan, sign their GANs, and as well submit a GEPA statement for those funds. Under ESSER II, they were not required to use any of those funds toward equitable services. There was a separate set of funds that were awarded to provide services to those non-public schools. ESSER II subgrant extends until September 30th of 2023. Whenever possible, we encourage our districts to spend the ESSER funds before beginning spending any ESSER II funds. ESSER 1 will expire September 30th of 2022, and ESSER 2 funds will expire September 30th of 2023. So if you still have ESSER 1 funds available and your ESSER 2 plans have been approved and you've begun spending there, be sure to spend your ESSER 1 funds first because they will run out on next year. Remember that ESSER 2 funds cannot be used for bonus, merit pay, or similar expenditures unless related to disruptions or closures with COVID-19. However, if your school district will be using these funds for bonus pay, be sure you have a written procedure in place that allows for that to occur, and that when you have your audit, the auditors will ask for that specifically. So if you're going to use those monies for those bonuses or merit pay, be sure you have a written policy in place that allows you to spend these funds or federal funds to do that. Although the supplement, not supplant rule does not apply to ESSER II funds, please be sure that the funds are being spent on activities that are related to, caused by, or impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Under ESSER II, there are 15 areas of allowable uses. In ESSER I, there were 12, and for ESSER II, they've added 3 new allowable categories. The other 12 are the same. They did not make any changes there. They just added 3 additional categories. On the ESSER II website, you will find a more detailed description of each one of the 15 allowable categories. One of the new categories is Category 12, which addresses learning loss among students. It includes low-income students, children with disabilities, English learners, racial and ethnic minorities, students experiencing homelessness, or children and youth in foster care. This also includes using high-quality assessments to accurately assess students' academic progress and assist educators in meeting students' academic needs, implementing evidence-based activities to meet the comprehensive needs of students, and providing information to parents and families on how they can effectively support students, including supporting students in a distance learning environment, and also tracking student attendance and improving student engagement in distance learning as well. The other new categories are Category 13 and Categories 14, which we work closely with the Office of School Facilities in this area. Category 13 says school facility repairs and improvement to enable operation of schools to reduce risk of virus transmission and exposure to environmental health hazards and to support student health. Category 14 is the inspection, testing, maintenance, repair, replacement, and upgrade projects to improve the indoor air quality in school facilities, including mechanical and non-mechanical heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, filtering, purification, and other air cleaning, fans, control systems, and window and door replacements. These 2 new categories include detailed language about the scope of the proposed project to ensure that the Office of School Facilities has enough information to determine what level of alterations the proposed project will fall under. OSF will issue conditional approval for amendments that include changes to these categories. As with ESSER I, districts must submit a budget for all of the 15 allowable categories if they're having activities in those categories. The spending plan is an Excel document that can be downloaded from the ESSER II website. After you have completed the spending plan, you can submit it along with your GEPA statement to the South Carolina ESSER email for review. The spending plan for ESSER II closely resembles the ESSER I spending plan. In the beginning, it requests some of the same information as ESSER I. In your text boxes, you will discuss how the LEA will determine what their needs are and also how you will meet those needs. So you will put that information in this text box. It is important to note that this form here is an electronic signature, but it is signed by the superintendent, that all the information presented in the plan is correct, and that the district has permission to submit the form for review. You will then go through each category and budget your needs. In the text box, briefly describe what your activities are and how you plan to use those funds. You will be able to input the budget by function and object code, and it will automatically calculate those funds for you. Districts must submit a new plan for ESSER 2. When that reaches the Office of Emergency Programs, we review it as well as send it to other offices in the agency that may also need to review. If a spending plan is submitted and it includes items for category 13 and 14, we will then send these spending plans to the Office of School Facilities for their review. This review process could take anywhere between 10 to 14 business days. The Office of School Facilities will then return the plan back to the Office of Emergency Programs with an approval of categories 13 and 14, or they will provide us with points of concern or clarification. We will send it back to the districts to update their plan. Once those categories are approved, the districts will receive a permit from the Office of School Facilities, and they will let the districts know that they can begin their projects in claiming any funds that need to be reimbursed. Districts must submit a GEPA statement with their ESSER 2 plan. This statement will include a description of the steps the applicant proposes to take to ensure equitable access to and participation in its federally assisted programs for students, teachers, and other beneficiaries with special needs. Here are the reporting dates for ESSER 2. The first reporting period has actually come and gone. That was at the beginning of July. The reporting date will normally fall 5 days after the end of the quarter. We ask that if you know you're going to be running late in meeting these deadlines, maybe you haven't gotten all your paperwork in, just give us send us an email to the ESSER email account so we'll know to note that may be late, and we can be looking for it later on. It is against in your assurances that you will meet the quarterly deadline, so just keep that in mind that you sign that you will meet the deadline. So if you're not going to meet those deadlines, be sure to let us know. Here are our list of resources for ESSER 2. We have the ESSER 2 webpage and the link for that as well. And we also have there our email address for your ESSER 2, which is actually the same email address we had for ESSER 1. So if you have any questions, any concerns to submit any documentation like your spending plan, your GEPA forms, anything such as that, everything should come through the scesser@ed.sc.gov website. Again, I have listed there for you our website. When you submit any questions you have on your gaps, once you load your money into the system here, you will send those to the grants accounting website that's listed there, as well as that's where you will send your quarterly reports the 5th business day after every quarter ends. Thank you, Ms. Shaw, and we will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Again, I'm Jasmine Shaw, Director for the Office of School Facilities. I'm a registered South Carolina professional engineer. I've been in the construction as well as engineering industry for 14 years. Our department, we serve as the designated building official for our South Carolina State Superintendent of Education, Ms. Molly Spearman. Our particular office is responsible for all new construction, renovation, and improvement projects associated with any of our 1,200 public schools in South Carolina. Our particular department look at the building permit process as well as the certification process for each school. Per the South Carolina state law, our office is required to approve and inspect all public school buildings and properties related to new construction, renovation, and improvement projects. As Ms. Smith stated earlier in the presentation, there are 15 categories associated with ESSER 2. And on today, I'll talk about categories 13 and 14, which is associated with the Office of School Facilities. Category 13 includes the school facility repairs and improvements, not only to reduce the transmission of viruses, but also environmental health hazards. Category 14 is involved with indoor air quality associated with inspections, testing, maintenance, and repairs. And that would be for both mechanical, such as replacement of HVAC units, as well as other non-mechanical means to help with the indoor air quality, such as replacing doors and windows. A new aspect to the Office of School Facilities are reviewing the spending plans. The image here is an example of the spending plan that the district is to complete, which includes a description of the activity, as well as an area to include the cost associated with that activity. This is where I call it to be the inputs to our organization. So we do receive these coming into to the Office of School Facilities. As an output, the Office of School Facilities completes an internal form that was developed called the ESSER II Spending Plan OSF Review Form. This particular form includes the date that we received the spending plan, the school district, the superintendent, as well as which category they're using the funding for or would like to get reviewed for approval. As a part of that form, we have information such as, is there any additional information that the Office of School Facilities need in order to approve the spending plan? Is this particular activity considered routine maintenance or non-routine maintenance in our opinion? And also, does the activity appear to be appropriate use of the ESSER II funding, yes or no? We also have the conclusion as to whether or not this is a routine maintenance and OSF review is not required, or if the district needs to hire a South Carolina registered design professional or submit a waiver. Lastly, within that form, we do include a disclaimer, and if we are signing at the bottom here, that means the spending plan has been approved. So we have reviewed several spending plans over several months now, and as some lessons learned, I would like to share with you some tips that will help expedite the review process. And that includes, but not limited to, the items listed and only associated with categories 13 and 14. So just some tips, please list the items within the form, the spending plan, include a justification of how the facility improvement complies with category 13 and or 14. Also include the number of schools affected by the improvement, and this is to help with our resources and staffing. Also include the total cost, and that would be both soft and hard costs of construction. Also have an example of what to do and what not to do. If you are adding portable air purifiers, here's an example of how you would want to describe that activity. Add portable air purifiers to 5 schools, and you can even list the name of the schools, to purify the air and help reduce the transmission of viruses. What not to do is simply state, add air purifiers. We want to make sure that the information in the document aligns with what the federal government is saying you can use the money for. Next, we have a process flow from start to finish as it relates to the spending plan. So first, the district completes the spending plan for all 15 categories that they would like to complete. The district sends the spending plan to the Office of Emergency Programs. The Office of School Facilities will receive the categories 13 and 14 portion of that plan. And that would be the part of the spending plan that we would review. So after we have reviewed, we would either have additional questions or we would approve the spending plan. All questions and comments will be received to the Office of Emergency Programs, who will then send a conditional approval. And that's assuming that the activity was approved by the Office of School Facilities. The Office of Emergency Programs will send the district a conditional approval for the use of the funding. Sometime in the future, the district will submit design plans to the Office of School Facilities. Office of School Facilities will review the design plans and issue a permit. The Office of School Facilities will then send the permit to the Office of Emergency Programs, who will then send a full approval to the district for reimbursement of funds through the grant award notification as a grant award notification letter. So just to cover some highlights regarding ESSER II, our organization has reviewed 75% of spending plans that have come into our office from the district level. So of all 81 districts, we have 75% that have come into our office for review. We forecast over the next 3 years about 1,200 ESSER II design plans that will come through our office for review. Of the 1,200 design plans, we have currently received, reviewed, or permitted 6% of those plans. For those of you who already know, we, the Office of School Facilities, have implemented our new school facilities portal, which is a one-stop shop to include the projects as well as the properties for all school districts. And this was implemented in January of this year, 2021. Please note that spending plans must be approved before submitting design plans to the Office of School Facilities. The reason being is that we want to ensure the federal government criteria is not only met, but fully documented before we proceed with any type of design plan reviews. To address the staffing needs of due to the additional emergency funding, we have hired 5 companies on South Carolina state contract. We are utilizing 3 internal OSF technical staff. We are also utilizing 1 internal OSF administrative staff. And we have 2 vacancies within our department for temporary full-time ESSER staffing. The companies, as well as our technical staffing, consist of architects, engineers, certified third-party inspectors, certified building officials with experience in K-12 facilities. Some of the type of facility improvements that we are seeing and have approved for categories 13 and 14 include, but not limited to, roof repairs and replacement. We've seen new HVAC units. We've also seen classrooms and multi-purpose room additions, floor replacements, room expansions, including nurses' rooms, door and window improvements, as well as fire alarm systems that are associated with reducing virus transmission. So I do want to give an example of the fire alarm system. Keyword is associated with reducing virus transmission. In an example where you have a fire alarm device that has to be moved in order to do a door replacement or a window replacement, then that particular device has to be moved associated with the door or window replacement for category 13. So therefore, you can claim for that fire alarm system movement for that device. However, you will not be able to claim a full brand new fire alarm system unless you're able to associate it with reducing virus transmission. So some of the facility improvements that we have not approved for categories 13 and 14 include new facility trash cans, student food placemats, other fire alarm systems not associated with reducing the risk for transmission of viruses, bus lot potholes in the parking area. This is not to say that these items cannot be approved as a part of ESSER II. It's just to say that these were not approved as a part of categories 13 and 14 of ESSER II. We have seen districts move these items to other categories within their spending plan for approval. So different types of design professionals include architects and engineers that districts want to get involved with these particular activities. Other professionals includes roofing consultants as well as kitchen planners as defined in our guide. And that is the most current one to be the 2020 South Carolina School Facilities Planning and Construction Guide located on our website. So districts if you're looking for engineers, architects, or other professionals that our office have worked with in your area, we will be more than welcome to give you 2 to 3 names of companies that have worked and we've done reviews for in that area. If you are an architect or engineer yourself or a design professional, and please reach out to the districts for any assistance that you can give them. Some of the frequently asked questions that we have received in our office includes, can I use the category 13 and 14 for new construction? And the answer is yes. I'll give an example of if you have an area of a building that you didn't use before, but because of the need to social distance, you want to use that particular building or wing of an area, you can certainly use that area, or you can add on to that wing of that particular space. Other questions, must we comply with the Davis-Bacon Act? And the answer is yes. You have to make sure that you comply with the Davis-Bacon Act and ensuring that you're giving the appropriate wages for the workers. Can I use ESSER funding to retire debt? No, you cannot use ESSER funding to retire your debt. Is a South Carolina registered design professional needed for ceiling tile replacement, HVAC replacement, carpet replacement, and others? And it truly does depend on the activity. It's associated with what's required out of the South Carolina building codes and standards, as well as if it's maintenance, considered maintenance, repair, or renovation. So I'll go ahead and get into that next, since that's the next bullet. So maintenance includes the improvement of an area in which you are switching an item out for the same item, but it's the same specification number and model number. So for example, ceiling tile replacement. If you have extra ceiling tiles left in a storage room from when you first moved into the building, or you're able to get the same model number off the shelf or wherever you're getting it from, then you can use that and replace, say, for example, a damaged tile that may be either physically damaged or have some water damage to it, and you want to replace it. If you're replacing it with the same model number, it doesn't have to come through our office. It's considered maintenance. But if at any reason you're using a different model number or different style of ceiling tile, then that has to be evaluated, and that has to come through our office for review. And a lot of it has to do with fire and life safety. Repairs, of course, is an item that obviously is not working and you have to go in and fix it and repair it. Whatever items you're putting back in, it has to be associated with what the specifications called for. If it is, it's considered maintenance. If you're putting new items in order to make the repair, that's considered an improvement, and that would have to be evaluated from an improvement standpoint. Renovations are just complete renovations of an area, whether if it's taking down a wall, expanding a room, that would be an example of a renovation. Bipolar ionization is an emerging technology as defined by the ASHRAE organization. This is a technology that is up and coming. It hasn't been proven. They have information regarding different UL listings that you should look for, and ensuring that this particular technology is not emitting ozone, in which in some cases it can, but making sure that you get a product in which is not emitting ozone, which can be deadly. Also, when should we replace our HVAC units? ASHRAE came out with some very good information regarding how old HVAC units will get until you need to replace them, which is anywhere between 14 and 17 years as a threshold. I do have some links within my presentation to that information as well, if you're looking more into that. So some of the tips that have been gathered over time regarding indoor air quality, you definitely want to start with assessing your building for what repairs are needing to be made and what improvements are needing to be made at that time. You want to identify what cleaning methods is most important to you, and whether it's, of course, the bathrooms, and how you want to clean the bathrooms and how you want to sanitize your areas and your building as a whole. You want to take the opportunity to utilize what's called shared procurement services to benefit from buying in bulk. So if you buy more, you can save more money and pay less. And so you may have a district, say Williamsburg and Georgetown next to each other, that may can benefit from if they share procured services and if they're buying the same product. I've seen Spartanburg utilize this as an option. You also want to take the opportunity to develop some type of indoor air quality policy or procedure, so that making sure that everyone's on the same page as it relates to the indoor air quality and checking on your systems and checking on your building every so often. You want to ensure that your roof and your building structure is repaired first to avoid any moisture entries that will be as a result of the poor indoor air quality. So first focus on what I call patching up the holes in the roof and getting those aspects resolved, and then focus on, what type of HVAC units would you need, or even if you have to replace them at that time. So next, any type of repairs, replacements, or improvements, or any type of new installation, you want to make sure that when you're going through that process, you have the end in mind, thinking about the maintenance that will have to take place with those activities. So if you are replacing doors or windows, making sure you're putting them in where the staff can clean them, or don't have to put as much work hours or time into trying to clean something that's new. So you want to make sure that you're at least keeping that in mind. Also, there are going to be plenty of new products and technologies coming down the pipeline at this time. You want to request the specification sheets as well as any third-party testing proving that the technology actually works. And of course, the old-fashioned, word by mouth, and if anyone used the product before, just asking how did they like it, did it work for you? I also provided the ASHRAE link to their website as well. Here are some other resources. Again, the ASHRAE link, as well as HVAC unit, CDC, DHEC, and just more information about the Office of School Facilities, our website, our new portal, as well as there's a process flow chart for our design plan review process. So please check that out as well as our construction guide. So we would again like to thank you for the opportunity of being part of this wonderful conference. We hope that you now know how to get your ESSER II act together, and that you will get your ESSER II act together. So thank you again. And Ms. Smith, do you have any other comments or would like to add anything?
No comments at this time. Just I thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you today. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.